Please also welcome Congressman Joseph Morelli, Rochester Mayor Malik Evans, Monroe County Executive Adam Bello, and now, please stand and join me in welcoming the 57th Governor of the great state of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Garth Hankinson, Chief Financial Officer of Constellation Brands, and I have the privilege today of walking you through today's agenda. We're excited to welcome Governor Hochul, Mayor Evans, County Executive Bello, Congressman Morelli, and all of you to the official opening of our new headquarters here at the Aqueduct Building. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. It was about 2.5 years ago that we announced our intentions to move into this iconic building. On that day, we held a press conference one floor below where we are today. And for those of you that joined us that day, I think you can all say and appreciate that this building looks a lot different today than it did back then. Needless to say, we're very proud of our new headquarters. It provides a state-of-the-art workplace for our employees, while also helping to make a positive impact on the Rochester community. Today, we'll hear remarks from Governor Hochul, Constellation's Chief Executive Officer, Bill Newlands, Mayor Evans, Congressman Morelli, and County Executive Bello. Jim Bordeaux, Chief Legal Officer of Constellation Brands, will then conclude the event with closing remarks. Immediately following the prepared remarks, Governor Hochul and Bill will be available for limited media Q&A. With that, let's begin the opening remarks with Governor Hochul. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Thank you very much. You know, when you wish upon a star, sometimes your dreams come true. It's incredible to be here for this grand opening of Constellation Brands' new headquarters. And as a result, to be a shooting star over the city of Rochester every night, a sign of hope and a promise of better days to come, because that's what's happening right here in downtown Rochester. And it's a symbol of a true belief in a community. People never gave up. That star is the guiding light to what other companies can do in repurposing buildings that have been long abandoned, hopeless. But that shining star sometimes shows up and people see the light. I want to thank Bill Newlands, the CEO of Constellation Brands, for your confidence in this project and getting it over the finish line. Garth Hankinson, the CFO, it's all about the money, Garth. Thank you for making that happen. Jim Bordeaux, the Chief Legal Officer as well. Rob Sands, I've known Rob and Richard a long time. And they are people with a vision that has transported a small business here in the Finger Lakes region to a global powerhouse, a Fortune 500 company that is renowned all across this globe. That, to me, is a huge source of pride, and we'll never take for granted what you have done for this city. Let's give him another round of applause here. I have some of the most amazing local elected partners here. And I've come here many, many, many years, not just as lieutenant governor, but also when I was a county clerk. I'd find my way here as a state official and committee person, and all the different roles I've played. And I want to thank people like Joe Morelli for putting up with a lot. He cut his teeth in local politics and state legislature and found his way to the the halls of power, supposedly, right, Joe? But the power lies in our communities, and Joe has never forgotten where he came from, and he's been a great voice for this community in Washington, D.C. Let's give him a round of applause. Our mayor, Malik Evans, someone who is so intent on lifting the people of this great city up, whether it's education, public safety, transforming communities into places that they always should have been, new housing. We've worked so closely on projects. Let's give another round of applause to Mayor Malik Evans for all he does. I've said this before, Adam Bello is who you want to be in a foxhole with when there's a crisis. What he did for this community should never be forgotten. How he got us through the COVID pandemic with a calm, steady hand that understood the power of local government at that time. And when I became governor, we were just thinking we were out of the woods, and all of a sudden Omicron slammed us again. And we had more deaths and more cases than we'd even had the previous year and a half. So I thank you for your friendship there, but also your tremendous vision for this county of Monroe. And I thank you for your leadership, as always. I want to thank great local partners. I'd like to give a special round of applause to your delegation, the leaders, Senator Jeremy Cooney, Senator Samra Brook, Assembly members Lunsford, Clark, Meeks, and a special guest, Anderson, who's joined us here today. Let's give them a round of applause. Because they help bring home the bacon. Our locals fry it up, but our legislators work with me to bring it home, and I want to thank all of them for their work. Bob Duffy. When there's a challenge, I always say, who are you going to call? You're going to call Bob Duffy, and thank you with the stadium work. Let's give a round of applause for the work you're doing there, Bob, but also the work you've done with the Chamber of Commerce as CEO. Transformative, and I want to thank you for being the voice of the community that certainly gets listened to in the halls of our state capitals. So thank you very much. And again, everybody knows this, but you referenced what it looked like 2.5 years ago. It was exactly 1 month and a day after I became governor that we were here. This is one of the first places I came to as governor of the state of New York, because I wanted the people of upstate to know, especially this Finger Lakes, Western New York region, that I would never forget where I came from either, that I believe in this area. And for the first time in over 100 years, to have someone who's actually from this part of our state would make a difference. As we're heading into beyond 2.5 years now and heading into 3 years, this building, this project, this complex of 8 buildings says to me that we're just getting started. What you need is partners and businesses and local officials, state officials, all rowing in the same direction. And that's when magic happens. And so we're getting there, friends. And to all of you who never gave up hope, I can tell you, it's easy to surrender to the negativity, the pessimism that can sometimes take over the psychology of a community. I know what I'm talking about because I'm from Buffalo, born in Lackawanna. Family worked at the steel plant. Grandpa worked there, lived the American dream to be able to raise his 8 kids, and my dad worked there as well. His brothers worked there. Just like Eastman Kodak, just like Bausch & Lomb, those legacy businesses that you thought were going to be there forever, that your children would work there someday. And because of foreign competition and people going elsewhere and all the challenges we had in the 70s and 80s, it all evaporated, leaving communities just shaking their heads. What's our next act? Where are we going? And for a time being, our greatest export were our children. We educated them at great institutions like we have here in Rochester. Did they stay? They wanted to stay, but they took that plane or that bus out of town. That happened to every one of my siblings. Big Irish Catholic family, I'm the only one who could stay. So, I believe in this region to my core, and all of you do as well. And I don't ever take that for granted, because it has a psychological effect on a community. When you open a project like this, after years of people going by just shaking their heads saying, oh, isn't that a tragedy? What beautiful architecture building. The brick is so spectacular. but who could possibly muster up the courage to do something in that space? And we have found the saviors, the people who believed, and the psychology of this community, the young people who work here, the ones who want to be in person now. Yes, remote work is so yesteryear, right? Okay. You're not going to get a date sitting in your basement, okay? You're going to meet. I know. I can say that. I married a guy I met at the workplace when I was a teenager, so it does happen. But also the creative collisions that happen, right? You're going to bang into somebody when you're walking through one of these incredible employee spaces, whether you think you're on a beach or you think you're out west in the mountains, this culture has been created to stimulate creativity, to take this company to a whole new place. Everyone should take advantage of that. I was talking to a CEO of probably the most major company in New York City, I won't name names, but he said to me, everybody should be at work because someday I'm in an elevator and a young person says to me, can I ever have a cup of coffee with you? He says, I'm going to say yes. And I might mentor that person. And I may take them to the next level. But their colleague sitting at home isn't having that cup of coffee with me. So I want everybody to rethink the experience. When you have a company that makes the environment of the workplace so attractive, how could you say no to this? But it feeds on not just what happens in these buildings, but also out in the streets, more people walking the streets, going to activities after work, stopping at a local bar. All of a sudden, it all starts clicking again. That's why this project matters so much at this time. When people may have said, will we ever be who we were? No, we're not going to be who we were. We're going to be better. This says we're going to be better. And that star will keep shining brightly. So back on that day, September 22nd, 2021, we announced over $9 million in tax credits and incentives. And I knew that this area, with the Genesee River right there, how many cities can say they have a river like this raging through its downtown? People love being near water. It's magical. But a $50 million investment by Constellation at the time, 170,000 square feet in this aqueduct campus. And we promised we're going to work on the aqueduct, right? We moving along with that, local team? Oh, yeah. Okay, I want that done, okay? Okay, I want to come back and say we got that done as well. It's all about bringing energy. And this is going to guide other companies. Other companies are going to want to be part of this. They're going to say, what else is down there for us? We don't want to miss out. Because the talent will follow places like this. And I know the best companies are in a race for the best talent. It's a good problem to have. We have a lot of jobs. We have smart people. We just have to make the connections. And I think that there's just incredible, incredible opportunities. So over 300 people coming downtown here. I bet it gets even bigger than that. I think that's just the beginning. And I applaud you for everything you have done for the people of this community, the psychology of this community, breeding a new sense of optimism. And it's so important that we can make transformational changes like this. People will look back, not just as we are today, looking back in September 2021, but on this beautiful June day in 2024, and say that was the day everything changed for Rochester, the Finger Lakes, and indeed the state of New York. So congratulations to everyone. Could not be prouder to be here. Truly, truly proud. And as someone who has been here so many times, I think I said this story once before, but I did bring a boat once, a couple years ago, down the Genesee River. Realized you can't go as far as I thought. Luckily, I stopped. We pulled over at Cornhill, tied up, decided to stop and have some lunch. It was beautiful. I was kind of new at boating. Didn't really know how to tie the lines real tight. The current is strong. The front part of the boat starts drifting away. That was me leaping from the edge, probably about that far. But I saved the boat, okay? So I love this area. This is a great place. Thank you very much. And with that, let me bring up Bill Newlands, the person who never stopped believing. And again, you helped wish upon a star and the magic happened. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Governor. It's great to be here with you again in this building. As you pointed out, 2.5 years ago, it didn't look anything like what it looks like today. And we're going to be continuing to work with you for the city of Rochester, Western New York, and frankly, the whole state. I'd also like to thank Mayor Evans, Congressman Morelli, County Executive Bello, all of you have been terrific in your continuing support both of our company and what we have done here. As most of you know, this company was started in 1945 by Marvin Sands in nearby Canandaigua. And I always said the only reason I got this job is because I could both pronounce and spell Canandaigua. But Rob Sands is here with us today. He's the former chairman and CEO, and obviously the son of the founder. He remains a board member of ours, and certainly we would not all be here today without the tremendous success that the Sands family has brought both to our company and to the region. And Rob, we're really pleased you're with us today. Thank you very much. I think it's fair to say we've come a long way from what your father started as a small bulk wine company to today being a Fortune 500 company with global reach and the fastest growing large CPG company in the United States. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say we also have the #1 beer in Modelo Especial. Funny how that worked. I had to get that in. Well, it's fair to say what a run it's been. And throughout the years, we've never lost our sense of where our roots are. We've been part of the fabric of this community for almost 80 years, and it's something we're very proud of. Personally, I grew up outside of Corning. It was the last school in Section 5. And I remember coming up and playing in the old Red Wing Stadium, not the current one, but the prior one, one year when our baseball team was better than it usually had been. Rochester was always a shining light from where I was from. And I think it's important that we as a company recognize our roots here and that it is a bright future we expect for both our company and for the Rochester area. We remain committed to engaging in the economic development and prosperity of Rochester, creating jobs, supporting local businesses, restaurants, retail environments, and grocery stores. And through our corporate social responsibility, helping to foster greater society equity in the communities where we live and work, and doing our part in the economic development. As the governor pointed out, it is critically important that you have more businesses and that you are able to attract great talent if you want great economic development. I'd also like to thank all the Constellation folks, and there are a number in the room today, who have been a critical part of getting us where we are today. And as we continue to grow and evolve, we're confident that the Aqueduct campus, this building, is an ideal location for our headquarters to support the future of our business. As you can see, this campus contemporizes our office workspace and provides more centralized location for many of our team members. Employee engagement is up, collaboration is up, and it will help us recruit and attract new and exciting people for the future to help ensure that our success continues for decades to come. I'd also like to recognize, in closing, the work of Cornerstone, Genesee Construction, and our dedicated Constellation team who's made all of this happen. It's truly a stunning building, even if you haven't seen the wine cellar, which is equally stunning. I'm told I have no access to it, but we'll discuss that later. As a company, we look forward to continuing to contribute for a long time to come, the growing vibrancy of this great city of Rochester for a long time. Thank you all very much, and I would like now Congressman Morelli, if you would come up and give your remarks. Thank you.
Good morning. It's such a joy to be with all of you. I want to say, first of all, Governor, thank you for finally having a podium that's the right size. You know, when you follow Bob Duffy to speak at any event, you usually can see the top of my head, maybe, but this is great. It's perfect size podium. I'm really delighted to be here. And it is, I have had the privilege of working with a number of governors during my career, both in Washington at the state level. There has never been a governor who works harder, has greater vision for the future than Kathy Hochul, who is doing tremendous things and working so hard day in and day out, and we could not be more grateful for your incredible leadership, Governor. Thank you so much. And I am delighted to be with my colleagues in government, certainly the mayor of the city of Rochester, in which this sits, and the county executive, and my friends in the state delegation, who I always, Governor, you'll appreciate this. You spent time in Washington, I've spent time in Washington. I love my job and the challenges of it, but I'm always a little bit jealous when it gets to the end of the legislative session because I want to be there and I want to be right in the mix. And we have such a great delegation. They're doing incredible work, and thank you for all that. God bless you. Give them a round of applause. So I have to say, when Constellation made the decision and the announcement they were going to stay here, and we thought this was further evidence of the incredible revitalization that's happening in the city of Rochester, but I have to say, this is spectacular. There's not too many places you go where you're at a loss for words on how beautiful it is. This is really breathtaking. What you have done is extraordinary in terms of the architecture, but just the vision and the desire and the decision to be here and be part of this revitalization. I want to thank my longtime friend, Rob Sands, too, for not only the incredible work he did in his stewardship of this company, but his continued work on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, ROC 2025, his family, Rob and Richard. The philanthropic contributions they make to this community would take a long, long time to go through, and they are committed to Rochester, committed to this region, and have been dear, dear friends. So I want to just thank Rob and the Sands family for all they do. And Bill, I want to thank you for your continued leadership over one of America's great, great companies. Your team, Garth, Jim, all the leadership continue to grow this company. And it is interesting, you mentioned your beginnings, and I was thinking back to the story of Marv Sands, who I think returned from World War II in 1945 and took over the family business, which I think was a former sauerkraut factory in Canandaigua, and turned it into the international leader in beer and wine. It's really an extraordinary story, and in some ways is so much a part of what we celebrate today, which is innovation. I mean, this is in Rochester's DNA to continue to innovate. Governor, you mentioned the great companies that continue to grow. Again, they're on the rebound, Kodak and Xerox, but built into everything Rochester is about innovation, about energizing, about the future. And this embodies it. This company is the embodiment of that. Continuing to change, continuing to evolve, continue to hire amazing people, and continue to be a part of all that we're doing here downtown. And the mayor can certainly speak to this more, but the Rock the Riverway, the Genesee River, all that's happening here, and this is further evidence of that commitment on behalf of the city and the broader community and the state to do these great things and to continue to have the relentless spirit of innovation that lives at Constellation and lives here in Rochester. And I am just delighted to officially welcome you as you join the vibrant fabric of business and organizations that are the center and the heart of our community, and which makes this such an incredibly special place to call home. And we will embrace the opportunity and the shared vision and look forward to working with you and your team for decades to come. And with that, I have the distinct privilege of introducing the person who his administration is charged with the revitalization of the city of Rochester and is doing an amazing job and is a dear, dear friend. Please welcome the great mayor of the city of Rochester, Malik Evans.
Thank you, and thank you, Joe, and Governor. Thank you for being here and for remembering Rochester. I need folks to understand, and I can't say this enough, because often when you're an elected official, you get complaints all the time. So it's important for us to make sure that we say thank you, because it's one of the most important words that we can say in a dictionary. And I want to say in the English language, and I want to say thank you to this governor who has prioritized Rochester, New York. Rochester is growing because we have the support of great state partners like Kathy Hochul, along with our state delegation. So Governor, just thank you so much for all of your investment in Rochester. To all of our other partners that are here, obviously the county executive and Congressman Morelli and Eversha Roman from our county legislature, and Miguel A. Melendez, president of city council, and our state delegation, I thank you all for being here. But to Constellation Brands, thank you. This is a Fortune 500 company, ladies and gentlemen. They could go anywhere in the world, but they chose to be here in downtown Rochester. We are welcoming the first Fortune 500 company in downtown Rochester in decades. In decades. This marks a significant milestone for Constellation Brands, but also for the city of Rochester, because they said yes. They said, yes, we believe in the revitalization of Rochester. Yes, we believe in Rochester's people. But more importantly, they said, yes, we believe in Rochester's future. And that is a milestone that I am so very, very grateful for. And I'm sure I speak for all of the citizens of Rochester that are grateful. And today, Constellation Brands opens its doors to all of you to witness this one-of-a-kind, world-class facility that represents innovation, growth, and creativity. And today, the company and its employees join more than 10,000 residents and hundreds of businesses that call downtown their home. Center City of Rochester is our fastest growing neighborhood for a reason. And we know that one of the major factors attracting businesses and residents to Rochester is our ongoing physical transformation that we're driving with hundreds of millions of dollars of capital projects across the city, especially thanks to the governor, our Rock the Riverway Waterfront Revitalization Initiative. We're closing in on the completion of a new street design in the Aqueduct District in the Main Street Bridge area. You see that construction out front. We upgraded Genesee Gateway Park across the street and the High Falls Terrace, further looking down the river, including the new Brewery Line Trail that extends the path to the Pont de Rennes pedestrian bridge. And I hope that many of you will be here when we reopen the Pont de Rennes Bridge, which will help us see the commanding 96 waterfall, which will also be part, again, thank you, Governor, a part of the High Falls State Park, which will be one of the few urban state parks that will be in New York State. You can see how the Genesee River is becoming a ribbon of vitality, and it flows right outside this building. It's more than just a riverway that's transforming. We are reconstructing Main Street and erasing all of that blight, including the 22 acres of reclaiming the Inner Loop and the Bull's Head Plaza. All these things all relate, and they are all stitched and tied together, and Constellation Brands is part of that puzzle. There's so much to celebrate, and I'm excited that Constellation is here as we continue to connect the dots between our meaningful and inspirational history and our bright and incredible future. This building is a shining beacon to a shared vision of Rochester's prosperous future, the type of prosperity that includes every resident in a future built on equity. And as we look ahead to this opening, it's only just the beginning. And I have no doubt that Constellation Brands' presence here will inspire growth and attract even more talent in the area. It's attracting me so much that I want an office up on that top floor. Garth knows that I've been spending a lot of time here. So again, on behalf of the entire city of Rochester, I want to say thank you. And now I'd like to bring up one of my strongest partners in government, a man who knows how to get things done and has the DNA of Monroe County running through his veins, our county executive, Adam J. Bello.
Thank you, Mayor. It's wonderful to be here with all of you today. Mayor, congratulations. Constellation Brands moving down here. And I just want to say this. I am a To our friends at Constellation, our employees and the leadership here, I can see my building just about a block away. So welcome to the neighborhood. And if you ever need to borrow anything, just come knock on the door. We're there for you, and we're a very friendly crew. You've built on a really great block here. But seriously, on behalf of Monroe County, I want to add my thanks to Constellation Brands for this momentous move to downtown Rochester. I cannot be happier to have you right down the street. You know, years ago, just a few years ago, Constellation Brands had the option to leave New York State. They had an option. They could have gone anywhere they wanted in the world, and that would have been a huge loss to our area. But because of visionaries like Rob Sands, Bill, Garth, Jim, you guys took a chance on us. You believed in us, you had confidence in us, and you chose Rochester Center City, and for that, we're going to be forever grateful. And you didn't just relocate. You came in here with a bang. This $83 million investment in the historic Aqueduct building, this is an iconic landmark to Rochester, and it's been vacant for just far too long. The building here that stands at the center of the vibrant and evolving downtown Rochester, it symbolizes the beginning of a new era for downtown, and it stands as a reminder of Constellation's ascendancy as a global leader in the beverage industry. And just look at this place. Look around you. The marquee lighting that lights up at night at the sky. When we were upstairs looking at that on the rooftop, the very first thing I did is I turned to Bill and Garth and I said, "Do you guys rent this out? Because I'll live here if I can." This place is amazing, just beautiful views of the city. But this Fortune 500 company is making investments and its presence known, and it's making its presence felt. This move also embodies, like I said before, the confidence that Constellation Brands has in Monroe County and downtown Rochester. From its humble beginnings in Canandaigua to now being a global leader in the high-end beer and premium wine and spirits industry, we could not be more proud that Constellation is now one of our hometown brands. And we have those heat waves come through last week. It felt good to know by poolside with the Corona, I was supporting a local company, Rob, so it made me feel good. But we would not be here today if it weren't for Governor Hochul's commitment. Her commitment to Monroe County, to the city of Rochester, and her partnership with myself, the mayor, our congressman, and our local officials. Good things are happening in Rochester's downtown. It's bolstered by the investment from Governor Hochul's Downtown Revitalization Initiative and Mayor Evans and your partnership and the Riverway Initiative, and we're seeing a true transformation. Downtown Rochester, as the mayor said, it's a growing hub where businesses, they're relocating. Revitalization is changing the look and the face of downtown. And we have our 10,000 residents have moved here and created a real, true neighborhood right in the center of our city. This is a transformation that would not be possible if it weren't for Governor Hochul's unwavering commitment to economic development in Monroe County and across New York State. So let's give Governor Hochul another round of applause and thank her for her commitment. Just earlier this year, just a few months ago, I joined the governor for the groundbreaking of Fairlife, who put a stake in the ground here in Monroe County to be the largest dairy processing facility in the Northeast. Just last week, pharmaceuticals giant Unifor announced a $106 million investment to renovate and update its facility in Henrietta, bringing more jobs to Monroe County. These projects are possible because of the partnership that we have with the governor and our friends at Empire State Development. We would also not be here if it weren't for the leadership of Comita as well. Monroe County was happy to partner on this project. I want to thank our chair, Ann Burr, and our executive director. I think she's here on a list. So thank you, Anna and Ann Burr, for your work and our Comita board as well. So thanks again, Constellation Brands, for investing in Rochester, for putting your faith and confidence in us. I want to thank Governor Hochul, Mayor Evans, Congressman Morelli, and all of our partners in government, and our state delegation, who's been fantastic as well, for making sure that this historic project is going to succeed. So finally, to the 300 employees who will be spending their in-office time downtown, welcome to the neighborhood. We're glad to have you, and I've already been seeing you walk around. It's fantastic to have all of you here, so congratulations. Next up, I'd like to invite up the Chief Legal Officer for Constellation Brands, who's going to close out our program today, is Jim Bordeaux.
Thank you, County Executive. I wouldn't take anything from the fact that we have the lawyer doing cleanup here. And here we go. So the governor mentioned everyone rowing in the same direction. This was not a dinky rowboat, it's a giant rowboat. We owe our thanks to so many different people and organizations for this beautiful place that we're going to be able to call home. The support of the city, the state, the county has been unbelievable. But we also have the support of our community partners, the Rochester Chamber of Commerce, the Rochester Downtown Development Center, our corporation, Greater Rochester Enterprise, Rock 2025, and many others who spend a lot of time keeping businesses in our area, attracting businesses to our city, and making this city just a fantastic place to work and live. Lastly, I'd like to also thank our employees that worked on the project to create this building. It was a very large across-the-company group led by our facilities team, but also included human resources, communication, security, IT, legal, government affairs. Look at what they did. I mean, you guys brought us not only that stunning rooftop that we all saw, but even just look at these wonderfully restored brick ceilings and all the collaboration space that really makes this a fantastic kind of place of the future to work. Post-pandemic workspace, I would say. So thank you very, very much for all you've done. Governor Hochul, Congressman Morelli, Mayor Evans, County Executive, thank you for sharing your time with us today. I know you have busy schedules. Mayor Evans, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to our employees several months ago when we were at our old place, help them learn about what we could expect as we move to the city. And thank you very much for sharing our first happy hour up on the rooftop a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, his name comes up a lot as being around here. So thank you very much. I would like to give a couple of notes as to what you can expect next. First of all, right here, we're going to do a ribbon cutting. Bill and the governor will come up and cut a giant ribbon for us. Then I would ask our media guests to make it across the hall to the conference room across the way, where the governor and Bill Newlands will do a short Q&A. And the rest of you, I invite you to join us at our cafeteria, Mickey's, where we will have a light reception. And there are people here who will help guide you as to how you get there. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Please remain seated for the ceremonial ribbon cutting at this time. Thank you for coming, everyone. Please enjoy the reception at Mickey's across the hall.